Hey, I'm so glad you reached out. I remember seeing that topic on the list that your instructor sent to me, and I was just like, yeah, what is that? And so I went through some searches, and I was having the same problems that you probably were because I wasn't finding anything. And so I had to change some of the keywords around to get to what I was looking for. And I will share with you in this video what I did. So first thing I did is since I didn't know any keywords, I went to Gemini. Gemini is Google's AI, and it shows up in their searches too, but you can go to it directly and say, hey, what are keywords related to scare acting? And I put that in quotes. So those two words would stick together. And it gave me some terms that I could try out, like horror. Let's see, I have another monitor where I have the things that I tried out. Oh yeah, I did horror. But I didn't think of, oh, in another search it gave thriller. It gave me different results this time, but you get the idea. There's like specific terms that are related to what you're talking about, but in the scholarship there wasn't as much. Oh, there's the thriller. Ooh, suspense, that's a good one too. But when you're a scholar and you're analyzing like a film or a theatrical production or even a video or a TV show, what are the words that you're using to describe it with, or what we need to find, because we don't have this AI. So we have to experiment a little bit. Let me cut to the chase and show you what I did find. From the library catalog in the advanced search, I'll just cut and paste. What I found worked really well. So we're looking for an environment. So you said, I'll go back to the haunted house thing, but you said that you're interested in scare acting as a profession, and then maybe haunted houses as a side thing, or how haunted houses are run. We'll do the haunted house one next, because I didn't find a lot that were tied together, but we'll give it another go. My watch wanted to tell me it's going to rain. Thanks, watch. One problem that I found is if you put in the word actor, actor is a rhetorical term, it's a social science term, and it's a psychological term. So it showed up a lot with all this stuff that was like totally unrelated. So I got rid of actor, but acting still works really well. And then I looked for areas that might show up. You know, we may as well just put in haunted house, but there might be synonyms for haunted house too. Oh yeah, I remember. I was going to ask, what are synonyms for haunted house? What are keywords for, I was just remembering spook alley. Haunted mansion, haunted hotel. So you might have to dig into these other keywords too. Oh, I remember going to a haunted forest. Forgot about that. Haunted cemetery. Creepy. Okay. So you could put any iterations of those after the or. Just for my edification, I'm going to do spook alley. But any of those contexts will show up. So spook alley will show up, but also haunted house, but also film or theater acting. So you can expand or contract the list depending on what you're interested in. Okay, the next one is I found that fear is a big mental health and public health word. Whereas if you get into film or like literature or anything like that, they don't use fear as much, but let's keep that in there. Next thing that I did, well, let me show you the search results. So there's these, and then I narrowed down to peer-reviewed. But I was just like, okay, Latin America, well, there's film, but there's dictatorships, fear management and haunted house visitors. I don't know if all of this is going on that I'm looking for. You might like what you find. If you want to move up to our current time, this goes back a few years. One thing that I did that really helped me narrow it down is I looked in the title only. And so those words could appear anywhere, but now in this search, they have to appear in the title. And I have to click peer reviewed again. And that narrows it down like 80%. And we get the same articles, but There's like novels, temporal memory examinations. So you'd have to go through some of these and see what's going on. I'm looking and I can't find anything. Oh, there we go. Physiological responses. At any rate, you have a tough search, but don't be discouraged. What you could do is also, so those are synonyms, related terms, so that'll expand your search with an or. But if you add a new line and say, I want you to find all that, and then it has to have these words in it too, and then peer reviewed, then there's only 23. So this might be what you're looking for, but there might not be a lot of people studying it. So we have to maybe approach it from like, how do you run a haunted house sort of a thing. So then that would be, it'd just be this. Haunted house or spook alley. Do you need to have peer-reviewed articles for this? Because it's likely that there's going to be stuff from the pop side of things in books. But if you have to find peer-reviewed journals, then it's only going to be the study of probably like social sciences and things like this. Oh, look at that. There's like ghost stories and books and things like that. But if you are stuck with just peer-reviewed articles, I do have a way that you might be thinking around getting around that. Trying to find one that looks kind of relevant. A lot of these 200s, you could be like business or profit or blah, blah, blah. But let me show you a database that I did not have. If you're interested in like the business aspect, we have a database for that. So I'm going to the guide here. This is the guide that we had in class. It's Campus Guides, this URL. I'll send that to you if you need it. But there's a business database. So everything in here is going to be looking at it from the aspect of business. So we can, let's just leave it there, but then let's make sure it's peer-reviewed. Let's see what they have to say. There might be like metaphors. This market's a real haunted house. Architectural design. Oh, I didn't think of hauntedness. So there's like the design of places. Recreational horror. So this might be good. That's the metaphor. Oh, look at that. Prices. Benign masochism. I never would have thought of it like that. Okay. You can also go in that guide to any number of different things, but that's the most business-related one. If you were in the catalog, you could do business or profit or I don't know what other or business-related terms are, and you might get similar results. But going into that business database is probably the way to go. Yeah, that was in the business database. Look at that. You'll start to see things repeat over themselves. One thing that I'd like you to consider is that when you're talking about something and you're using a scholarly source to supplement it, to hold it up, right? It's only going to talk about one really tight little point. And so using prices in haunted houses, you could use that to support a point like, well, it's hard to hire actors because no, people need to have a job for all year round, and if they're only doing it one time of year, so we only hire. So you could talk about that. You could talk about the psychology of it and support another point, but use each article to support little bits and little bits. Imagine like ants carrying a cookie, and each little ant is a scholarly article, if that helps. Okay, let me know how it goes.